Hello everybody, happy Mother's Day. Good Sunday to you all. We return with more work on High Charity. Made quite the progress since I last streamed this level. So this is you probably don't recognize this, and as you can tell, this is by the horrible warped textures. This is one of the new areas we're adding that is still currently under construction, and for which one of the encounters we're going to be working on today. Need to turn on Sapien because level's ambience is loud. Okay, yeah, you're probably wondering where this takes place in the mission, and we'll show off the last vanilla area encounter that I worked on recently that leads into this one, which we are going to design for today. So, let's see. First, we're going to show off what I've done with the first garden encounter, which is the one that precedes these new areas. So, take a look at this area and see if you can spot the difference from vanilla. First of all. So, as a standalone mission, I've gone into this in the last stream, but I do not like the way this mission's encounters are designed. I don't think it works well as a standalone mission to have every encounter built around the idea of you running past every enemy instead of engaging with them, which is, you know, the fun part of Halo is fighting the enemies, not necessarily running past them, so that's a bit of a faux pas if you ask me. So kind of redesigning this level around the idea of you actually engaging with encounters, and I tweaked the level design here to accommodate for that. So got multiple ways you can take this encounter. In vanilla, you would just like follow this set path. There's a tunnel here that keeps you safe from all the enemies, leads you directly to the exit. Not very fun or interesting. So sort of tweaked this space to give you more points to actually engage with the enemies and be a part of the two-way action for the Flood versus Covenant combat going on. You have this little spot down here which you can use to get your bearings as you enter the space, so you're not overwhelmed by all the enemies up here. You also have this path that leads you into a nice vantage point on the higher ground. Get a lot of angles on the Covenant, and also higher up from the Flood that are pouring in from behind you. And then also added this ugly looking grate here that I'm gonna polish up when I actually get to the visual pass here, to make sure you can't like just go through down the middle while ignoring everybody. We'll see what I've done with this, how this encounter actually plays in a second. But yeah, that is the general idea of what I wanted to do with this encounter. Thank you, Mr. Lozna, for the 117. Thank you for using Streamlabs too. Very generous of you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Mr. Lozna. You're a long-time supporter of the mod. Yeah. Anytime you see warped textures like these, you can tell they're my handiwork, and I haven't gotten around to actually making it look good yet. Just trying to get it to play well first. Thank you, Real Kate Nid K for the $5 super chat. Thank you, P-Dot, for the $5 super chat. Is it possible to do elites versus brutes versus Flood in this level? That's kind of tricky, because this level's encounter spaces are really tight and tiny, so it doesn't really lend itself well to three-way battles, not including the player. So it's not out of the question, but we'll have to see as we go forward. The mission probably plays a lot better with two-way battles than it would with three-way battles, but it really depends on the size of the encounter space. Also, don't mind the floating grass here. I'm gonna clean all that crap up. Just the consequence of having changed the geometry and not polished anything visually yet. But yeah, let me turn light maps back on. I also have something I'm paying very, very special attention to how the lighting progresses throughout this mission. You might notice that the lighting is might be darker or brighter in some areas compared to vanilla. It's all part of a plan that I'm trying out with the lighting on this mission. So we'll see more of that as we get further on in the mission, what I'm planning to do with all that, how I'm planning to sort of tell the story of High Charity through how the lighting progresses in this mission. But yeah, let's take a look at this encounter in its full form. Okay, coming out the tail end of the corridor encounter here. Got that respawning mechanic of flood behind you. So here, you have the Covenant pre-engaged with some flood up there. Got a little corner for you to duck down over here. So the idea I'm going for with the flood respawning behind you thing and Cortana locking the doors is you either stand your ground and fight against the waves of flood that are pouring in from behind you, and then once you've killed enough of them, Cortana will lock the door, or you move up far enough and Cortana will lock it. So,
did not defeat the Fallen.
Kind of a risk versus reward thing.
Arrogant creature. Your deaths will be instantaneous, while we shall suffer the progress of infinitude.
So you either like push forward for Cortana to lock the door more quickly, or you take the safer but slower route and engage with the flood respawning behind you from a safer vantage point. And yeah, that's kind of the design philosophy I'm going with this. This mission is a lot of like trialing of ideas more than any other mission probably, which is why I'm not super committed to any one idea just yet. I feel like I'm gonna have to have a lot of encounters done with this mission before I can get like a really, really clear idea of what works and what doesn't regarding the broader like design style of this mission. So got some blood-infected brute captains. Ah!
Parasite did not defeat the Fallen, and it shall not defeat us.
You get a checkpoint too if you cleared out the flood respawning from behind you. There's a lot of ways you can play this mission, either fast and loose or like taking it very slow. I want to sort of accommodate all those play styles. Let me turn off the background music. Thank you, Coax, for the $5. Hello, lover. Dramatic lighting. The change in level flow is awesome so far. Keep up the awesome work. Yeah, this encounter plays more like a sort of King of the Hill situation. You have the brute captain in the central focal point there, firing at the flood pouring in with his brute shot. At the same basic like encounter composition of enemies, we still have the sniper jackals, we still have the jackals and brutes. Got the flood pouring in from the far side over there. This mission's encounter design is going to be like a very delicate thing, I think. Because there's a lot of things I need to juggle. I need to juggle engaging with the enemies that are already there, engage with the mechanic of Flood respawning from behind you, sort of threading that needle versus how much you hold your ground versus how much you push through. And also Flood spawning from the far side of the arena to keep the Covenant busy, so you're not totally overwhelmed. I feel like this mission has been very, very delicate so far as encounter design goes, and it's a very special care I need to take for this mission. It's been very interesting so far. Thank you.
Been following your rebalanced projects for years now, and am currently replaying CE Rebalanced for the 100th time. Thank you so much for creating what will be the definitive way to experience Halo 2. This is genuinely my most hyped game this year.
Thank you so much, Arctic. I was gonna play twice, but don't worry. It's just a glitch. Thank you so much for using Streamlabs also. So yeah, this is where this leads into. This new area here, which currently doesn't have any encounter design for it yet.
Thank you so much for creating what will be the definitive way to experience Halo 2.
Please excuse how crusty the lighting looks here. It's lit on the lowest quality at the moment. And I definitely need to add a lot of flood biomass around here. We'll probably get to that as we design the encounters for the space. Yeah, we are going to get to work on that now. I'm going to actually have to turn off light maps while I'm designing the encounter here so I can actually see what I'm looking at. It's a very dark mission. Yeah, so let's touch up this area's scenery and start with getting some flood biomass here and there. As we definitely need a lot of it dotted around the space. And better to get that kind of stuff. Get that kind of stuff in early before we go hardcore on the encounters. So start with the biggest pieces and then build the stuff around the rest of the stuff around that. I'm gonna go super detailed with the tiny flood biomass clumps yet, just mainly like the big stuff. These clumps. As this is the kind of stuff that will affect pathfinding and how much of the space is available to move around in. Very dank mission. I hope it'll be. This is still probably going to be the shortest H2R level, because there's just a limit on how many new areas I can add to a mission that's supposed to be really fast-paced and desperate. We can do what we can. H2R's Marines hard ping threshold compared to CER's. They're pretty similar. Marines aren't nearly as resilient to hard pings as they are in vanilla Halo 2, but they don't ping instantly like they do in vanilla CE either. How many flood biomass sceneries do I have to work with here? With tentacles. This attack. Big tentacle. Okay, it's mainly these three that I'm going to get a lot of mileage out of. Okay, I'm just going to worry about the big ones right now. That'll actually affect pathfinding. Thank you so much, 7
Been following your work on H2R since before my freshman year of college. Now I'm graduated and this mod is almost finished. Thank you and keep up the good work.
That's funny to think about. Thank you so much, Seven, for the 15 bucks, and thank you for using Streamlabs.
Been following your work
Appreciate
on
it, dude.
H2R since before my freshman year of college. Now
Pretty
I'm
that.
graduated and this mod is almost finished. Thank you and keep up the good work.
This room is going to be a pretty simple encounter-wise, mostly comprised of infection forms infecting bodies. Try to keep the biomass places where they won't destruct stuff too much. Oh my god, thank you. Yep.
To think how far we come, all I can really say is congrats, bro.
My god, you guys are making it fucking rain today. Thank you, Yep, for the $50. Holy shit. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
To think how far we come, all I can really say is congrats, bro.
Thank you, Yep. Long time supporter of the channel there. Let's get some in the back. Okay. That should be enough for the basic biomass at the moment. Need to see how that will... I need to regenerate pathfinding. Yeah, that's Claire Redfield from... That's a cutscene from Darkside Chronicles. What did you think of the Halo 2 Anniversary multiplayer mode? It's fun for what it is. Something about it feels kind of off, like too easy, though. I'm not sure. Leverage flood infection form pimples from Halo 3 here in heavy infected areas? I don't know yet. Okay, what should I do first? I think I have the layout of everything that I want here so far. I think we should probably start just getting the basic infrastructure of this encounters scripting set up. Do I already have? Yes, okay. So this is the juncture encounter is what I'm calling it. We need to get a script going for that. Copy over the basic script structure from the Garden A encounter. Roll up. Okay. Probably need to get a waypoint going for the Garden A encounter as well. Let me put that in my notes. Yes, there will be the Warthog run. It's gonna be very greatly expanded. Alright. Counter Juncture A. Also need to get a trigger volume going for making all the garden enemies disposable. The garden and that probably right in the middle of this corridor before the BSP swap. Okay, I need to slip that into the Garden A encounter to clean up all of the Garden A actors. Until volume test objects, TV Garden A players. Okay, then AI disposable Garden A enemies. And then probably AI erase Garden A Covenant. Get rid of them all preemptively. And we need to sleep all the scripts play here as well. Sleep forever. Get all this stuff shut down properly so we can start the next encounter anew. Okay, let's get this main encounter script functional within the mission script. Alright, wake, encounter junction A. That is gonna wait until you're in that trigger volume for this Boolean aesthetic for testing purposes. Encounter G juncture A or G juncture A start. TV juncture A start. Now let me make a test script for it. Alright, Joan A. It's Boolean, so the mission knows what encounter is active. And teleport you to the teleport spot. BSP to what BSP index is this? This is a new BSP I've added, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. BSP 7. That should be good. Thank you, Matthew, for the $5 super chat. For Halo 3, can we have flood drones instead of shooting at you as they fly towards you, trying to claw you with their attacks? I feel like Halo 3 has plenty of flood forms as it is. One thing I would like to do is see if I can get more use out of the base pure form for the flood, because like they have melee attacks and they scurry around really fast, but they never really attack you on their own. The only pure forms that actually attack you are the ranged pure forms or the tanks. It'd be cool to see if we could get them to be more of a combat presence. And then I need flag for you to teleport to. Oh my god!
High Charity. By the gods, brace for impact.
Oh my god, thank you, Real K. That is insanely generous of you. Thank you so much. Wow. We've barely even done anything on the stream, and you guys are already going insane. I am very, very humbled. Thank you very much. When is that one I'm gonna play again? Mama. There it is.
High Charity. By the gods, brace for impact.
I gotta fix that. I don't know what causes it though. Okay. Okay, is that functional? He deserved at least 6 hours of streaming. We're haggling on how long I stream for. Is that it? All right. Let me see if that works. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's make stuff actually happen now. Let's design some scripts for this. Wake, AI, juncture, a flood. I think there's just going to be one AI script for this. It's going to be a pretty simple encounter. Gonna carry on into the upper hallway. Hi, Loki. Loki came up for some pets. And this encounter is going to continue up to here into this hallway. So it's going to be... I'll use this. Sleep until TV or volume test objects TV juncture 8 and then we're gonna start sending in the other. You also slip this into here so it gives you a checkpoint. Okay, and then that's gonna continue all the way up to here. And then this is going to be the start of a new encounter, which we're also probably going to get to on this mission, which is also really, really simple. Are Blind Wolves and CE part of the Flood or Sentinel faction in the game's code? I forget what team I made them a part of, actually. I probably did use either the Sentinels or the Flood team, but there's no team for, like, nature for them to be a part of, so probably I used something that wasn't human or Covenant for them to be a part of. Get all of these objects be able to be called and called as needed, so juncture A stuff. Any other weapon crates in here? I don't know if I'm gonna put anything in that crate yet. Here, juncture A02. I already placed some of the stuff to see how the space would flow. And okay. Then I need to add a couple of bipeds by these little human weapon caches. Trying to keep the player topped off on human weapons for this mission. Make sure they get their proper rep. Okay, so it's gonna be a flood human body here. Juncture A body 01. Thank you, Dr. Walter, for the $5 super chat. Mind telling my friend Palpy stop watching the stream and get a job? He's the biggest Halo 2 fan I know, but also low-key a huge bum. Well, maybe he'll get inspired. Olak quit his day job to become a game dev. And I need another human body up here by this one. A juncture, a body, O2. Thank you, Matthew, for the $2 super chat. For Chieftain Ultra Honor Guard's mini boss enemy. Let's pack as many attributes onto one AI as we can. Okay. Okay, now that I think I have the flow of the area down, let's make a proper zone set here for the AI to move around in. And thank you, Idaho, for the $15 euros, or 15 euros. Keep doing your best for Halo 2. This mod's gonna make some ripples on release. I really hope so. It's like gonna be 5 years in the making by the time this releases. Because I don't know how long SPV3 was in development for before it released, but that's probably setting some kind of record. Alright, let's place my lovely little rainbow squares around. This needs to be enough for like some combat forms to move around the space. There's not going to be any Covenant in this encounter. Pretty simple stuff. Give them plenty of space to them. Thank you, Walter, for another $10 super chat. Looks like Palby didn't get the message. He's too locked in on Blender. I'm sure it's very productive, but it ain't a job. Hey, that's my job. Bro's got to get out and get some stacks. Well, if the stacks that I've gotten within the first like 30 minutes of this stream are any indication, it's a valid job. You can make some serious money. I ain't going hungry. Maybe if he streamed it, yeah. Those are fine. Those work fine for here. I already put a bunch of pathfinding hints into this space. Do I need to change any of that? I think all of that should still be good. Just make sure the flood can jump around here properly. This needs a jump in. Looking at that. This mission, the Covenant architecture here is like really, in particular, more than any other mission, puts the flood at like risk of getting to a spot that they can't pathfind down from, like these ledges here that constantly just have to babysit for and add a bunch of pathfinding hints that tells them how to get down from it. They just jump all over the place and they're pushing each other all over the place to where they get stuck. It's like such a pain. Glitch Tartarus Honor Guard body? I don't know what you're referring to. Okay, need some stuff here. People are being loud as hell outside. Thank you, Imaginaire.
Love the progress. Can't wait to play it. Question: why are one of the armor colors for Brute Captains blue instead of something more distinct?
Because blue is an iconic color of the Brute Captain. Blue and gold. It's like how blue and red are iconic to the standard elite ranks. And blue is also, in this game at least, blue is also the color of the Brute's blood, so it's like kind of thematic in that way. Thank you for the $10, and thank you for using Streamlabs. Nope, it got overlaid.
Keep up the amazing work you and your team are doing. Wait to play. I can't wait to receive this product. Why are one of the armor colors for one of the best experiences instead of something more distinct?
Thank you, Egerin, for the $4, not super chat, Streamlabs. Don't know.
Keep up the amazing work you and your team are doing. I can't wait to receive this product in my hands. It will be one of the best experiences.
Referring to H2R as a product is weird to me. I do treat it as a full-time job. Okay, that should be all of the firing points I need for the juncture encounter. Means the Brute Honor Guards have the same fur color as TARDIS sometimes? Yeah, because I think that was intentional on Bungie's part, and it was definitely intentional for me because I think white looks the best with the Honor Guard getup. White fur. Where's 50 Cent and Loon when you need them? Sergeant Marcus Banks. Thank you, David, for the $5 super chat. Okay, that is all of the firing. Regenerate pathfinding again. What if the needle rifle's needles didn't stick to shields, unlike the needlers? The Super Combine's EMP radius was larger. That's literally what I did in Reach, my old version of Reach Rebalance. I think I made it so it didn't stick to shields and I increased its EMP radius. Yeah, that was the idea I went with because that sounded really fun. I'll probably play around with that idea again when I revisit Reach. Okay, this encounter is going to be built around the idea of a bunch of infection forms infecting bodies, so let's place some of those. Maybe I can randomize how many bodies there are in here, which ones spawn, and how many there are based on difficulty. So we're going to have some brute bodies. Place some of them around here. The idea with this space is that this is going to be like a crossfire zone where a bunch of elites and brutes win at it. So brutes on one side, elites on the other side. Make some of these guys majors. Name for that. Oh my god, getting the name, the variant name for the brute majors. Thank you, Brow007, for the $50 MX. What is that? Thank you for your efforts, Ruby. I'm very excited for the mod. Thank you. Major Cruel, does that could be valid? Why is that not valid? What did I call it in iPad? Yeah, Major Cruel, why do you not accept that? Okay. Oh, Major Bloodthirsty. I only had the Bloodthirsty variant. There we go. Of course, replaced biped to ragdoll. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I know what you're talking about. Okay, Elite's on the other side. I don't know if I'm going to keep this energy sword because I provided an energy sword to the player at the end of the last encounter. We'll see. Having an energy sword in this encounter would make sense though, because that is the direct counter to stopping infection forms from reviving. I wonder if I should have some way of infection forms respawning in this room, because that would kind of go along with the idea and sort of emphasize you needing to destroy the bodies in this room so they're not constantly refilling in from behind you. I don't have a good place to respawn infection forms from, though. I could, like, use these, make an opening in these little insets. We're always gonna have these bodies spawn, I feel like, so you immediately know what happened in this room as you come in. You see a brute and elite body facing each other immediately as you come in. I feel like that will communicate what went down instantly. Make these effectful. Oh my god, what is the name for these variant names are so all over the place. Oh right, the biped has its elite major. Thank you, Cricket, for the £2. Never add orange elite majors to future mods. Yeah, I don't know why Reach made them orange. It's not a bad color for them, it's just like weird change from how it's usually done. Also, they renamed the majors to officers in Reach for some reason. This one's gonna be a dead Ultra. Get a bunch of possible placements they can appear in. Oh man, this encounter space is gonna have a ton of bipeds. Honor Guard Ultras have glowing blue lights instead of orange, while orange is the color of the Honor Guard's lights. Blue is kind of the Spec Ops thing. Okay, so let's name all these. One. I have to make a system for the game to randomly select from all of these to place how many based on difficulty. These two will always spawn though, and probably also the Zealot will always spawn, or not Zealot, Ultra will always spawn here as well, because the sword is always going to be there. I feel like if I make all these guys ragdoll at the same time, it's going to overload the physics engine. Halo 2's little Havoc physics engine is always so delicate. Counselors as enemies on any mission. If there were any mission to do so, it'd probably be I don't know. All the counselors are supposed to be on the Halo ring, not on High Charity, so Chief would never encounter them. So I don't know if you could ever reasonably make a elite counselor encounter unless you were able to find some way to justify that one got left behind and didn't go to the Halo ring. And of course all the Arbiter missions, all the missions on the Halo ring are played as the Arbiter at this point in the story. Let's now design a function for it to choose between all these bodies. Of course, let's create the ones that are always going to be there. 1, And O2. The Chief see any counselors in Regret? No, the counselors have no reason to be on Regret's fleet. They're counselors, so they're gonna be on High Charity by that point in the story. Okay, how am I gonna handle this? I gotta choose a random amount. Let's see. Okay, let's go global short. G body is that's gonna default to how many we're gonna spawn on normal difficulty. But like probably two from each of the elites and brutes. So we're gonna go. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna check what the difficulty's on. Conditional difficulty heroic. I'm gonna set G junction bodies to 3. Then on legendary, we're gonna set it to 4. Wait, for this to make sense, I have to set it to 0, and then on normal, set it to 2. Hold on. I need 2 shorts for this to actually work. It's difficulty normal, below. Okay, so here's where we're gonna go begin random. Okay, so if a G junction bodies is less G junction bodies is less than G junction bodies maximum, then we will begin set G junction bodies to G junction bodies +1. G junction bodies +1. So we add to the counter, and then we create a body. Okay, so we have a max count of how many can spawn per difficulty, and we're choosing at random which ones we spawn. Blood form or more to tackle a brute off a cliff. That's a very hyper-specific request. Yeah, I've seen Halo 2 with sprinkles. Very fun mod. And yeah, we gave Miranda the combat uniform. A rendition of a combat uniform in H2R. And she is going to wear that for the rest of the game from Quarantine Zone onward. How many did I place in here? Placed 7 elites, okay. I'm gonna have 5 of these. 4, 5, 6, 7. Flipped. Oh, we actually have 8, okay. Okay, that's all of the elites chosen for. Let me see if that compiles. whoops, AI Generator 5. Got to declare what type of script this is. Okay, that works out. Let me fire up the script real quick to see if it works. See how it works in action. This is going to default to normal difficulty in Sapien, so let's see how this works. Okay, we got that one, we got the Ultra, and then... Why did none of the others spawn? Oh, I need to declare the max here, not the count. Okay, go. Okay, that one shows them that one, and these two up here. Okay, awesome. So let me... let's do the brutes now. Let's reset the count back to 0. The G-Jun body is back to 0. And just repeat the process, but with the brute bodies. Probably should have a little bit of a pause here because too many bipeds being created at once kind of might make Halo 2 just panic. It's a little bit of a delay there. Thank you, Walter, for the $5 super chat. Get what you want about Halo 2's gameplay, but its sheer aura has never been matched by any other game in the series. CE's close though. Halo 2 does have some mighty fine aura. In cutscenes, anyway. I don't think any Halo game has ever matched Halo 3's aura in-game, anyway. In gameplay. I think Halo 2 probably has, like, the least sauce and aura. Like, if we're talking purely in gameplay. Compared to any other Halo game. Okay, now let's create the brute bodies. How many brutes did I have placed down? I did 6 of them. What makes you think Halo 3 has the most sauce? Halo 3 is like light years ahead of Halo 2 when it comes to in-game storytelling and in-game set pieces, in-game like flavor stuff like the beats fighting in the background, other environmental details, environmental storytelling, music timing, AI spawn timing, counter framing, pacing, all that kind of stuff that culminates together into a much more consistently exciting experience than all of Halo 2. To me. Okay, that should be the bodies placed down. Where is this brute? This brute should always spawn. Place it down. Object create brute. How does your Halo 2 rebalance stack up against Halo 3's in-game aura? I hope well, because Halo 3's is like the I consider like the standard of like how Halo's in-game storytelling and presentation should be handled. It took a lot of cues from how Halo 3 handles things. Reframe, repace, redesign counters, and set pieces, flavor, environmental flavor, all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's all the bodies created. There's gonna be a lot of bodies in here on Legendary. Okay, now I need somewhere for infection forms to actually spawn, which I don't really have that many places. I'm actually really regretting that I didn't add somewhere for them to spawn out of these sides. Probably will remodel this to give the infection form somewhere to spawn out of. But I don't want to do that on this stream because then that would mess up the light maps, which you can't see right now, but they're there. Anyway, I guess I'll just place some infection forms, have them just appear right here, and then I'll model that to actually give them somewhere to spawn out of sight later and move them to spawn properly out of sight. Halo 2 has more creative levels than 3. I would agree. They're more creative, but they're nowhere near as polished. Yeah, pretty much, lol, dude. Trying to future-proof the design for all these AI. Halo 3's enemies are really boring. That is a hot take and a half. Like, say all you want about Halo 3 brutes just being clones of elites, but clones of elites are a more fun enemy to fight than Halo 2's brutes, which are very, very boring and frustrating to fight. I will take an elite clone any day over a Halo 2 brute. Especially if the brute is gonna carry the entire game, filling the elite's role. Kind of unavoidable. Yeah, we're gonna have some initial infection forms, and then probably a system to respawn infection forms. Halo 3 brutes are watered down elites. Yeah, watered down elites are leagues better to fight than Halo 2 brutes is what I'm saying. Like, they don't live up to their character's potential, but they make for a much significantly better video game than carrying Halo 2's version of brutes into Halo 3 would have been. That would have been a fucking disaster. Thank you, Captain Quef for the $5 Canadian. Is it possible to buff infection forms so they aren't as OP? Buff infection forms so they aren't as OP. You'll have to rephrase that question. I don't know which direction you're asking. Should they be more powerful or less powerful? I don't even necessarily agree that Halo 2's brutes have more aura than Halo 3. Have you seen Halo 3's armor design? The brute chieftains, the brute captain's cool little rhino horn. I mean, the brutes in Halo 2 are just like naked and low res brown blobs. If we're talking about like in-game threat, then yeah, Halo 2s are actually more interesting than Halo 3s when it comes to like charging and melee and berserk and stuff like that. That I totally get. Halo 3's behaviors and animations there are very underwhelming. I need the infection forms to not immediately... I should probably make this a hole in the ceiling so that's one more place for the infection forms to fall out of. For right now, I'll just spawn some infection forms back here. The problem is these are probably just immediately going to go toward the bodies that are up here. I'd rather the infection forms go straight for the bodies that are on the ground. Lower level. Okay, and then just gonna have those spawn out of thin air for right now on these places over here. And then I'll model actual spawn holes for them. Stealth brutes are Halo 3 style chieftain brutes, and sure. No chieftains. Stalker brutes is kind of an open question. Depends on how I feel like the final act is coming together, and if I feel like it needs a little extra spice in some places. I think the Flood in Halo 3 are an improvement over Halo 2's, I think. The Flood in Halo 2 are, like, unreasonably spongy, and, Infection, the human forms auto-aim on their cores is, like, broken as well, which makes them really frustrating to face. I still think the Halo 3 Flood have more depth to fight overall than the CE Flood. But Halo 3 has more frustration points with the Flood, like the elite combat forms that don't have shield players, so you can't tell if they have shields or not. And of course the ranged forms, which are just horribly balanced in vanilla Halo 3. So I still think overall Halo 1 has the best flood to fight, even if they don't have as many bells and whistles and death as Halo 3. But Halo 2 flood is like bottom of the barrel. They're horrible in Halo 2. Halo 1 just strikes the perfect balance for the flood, I think. Just from a very, very basic, I don't know, functional gameplay standpoint. Okay, they're just gonna spawn out of thin air right in front of you for now. I will fix all of that later when I re-import this BSP. I'm excited, I'm not excited, but I'm really curious about Campaign Evolved either way, because we've barely seen any of it, and it's supposed to be releasing this year, so I don't have high hopes. I'm just, like, very interested to see how it'll turn out. No. There's only a Halo 1 remake that is just basically Halo plays exactly like Halo Reach, with Halo Reach's engine and feel and physics and all that, with Unreal 5 slapped over it, can only be so good, if I'm being honest. With heavy reuse of Halo Infinite assets, there is like a hard cap of how good that remake can be, which is why I'm not particularly excited or hopeful. It's already kind of shot itself in the foot with all of that. Okay. I'm wondering if I should have any combat forms spawn from this door over here. Just if I feel like there aren't enough enemies in this encounter, or not enough stopping the player going forward. You know what might actually make sense? Instead of initially spawning infection forms, spawning in carrier forms might be fun, because there are ways that I've added to Halo 2 that are in CER that you can kill the carrier forms without having them release their infection forms. So let's try a combination of that. If you're smart, you can you play smart, you can like put a cap on how many bodies are revived right from the start if you deal with these carriers in a smart way. Where should I have the carrier form spawn from? Probably from the back of the room. We'll have 2 of them. That is not a carrier form. There's a bunch of popcorn. You walk in and they're in their patrol state. I like that. Give them orders. Junction, a flood. Just have a general flood order for this whole space. Have them follow the closest player, so they're always a threat, always following you. I need some firing points down here. How does Cortana know the Gravemind's name? I don't even know if does the Gravemind even go by, call itself a Gravemind? I think that was just the name that Cortana attached to it, wasn't it? Give the same orders to the infection form, so if they infect someone, those orders will get carried on to the actors that come about from that. Ever attempted to include the assault rifle or any other weapon in H2R? Believe me, we have. And we need to place the infection forms. Actual scarab fights in Reach Rebalanced? Ideally, yeah. It would be cool if there was some way to like have an alternate version of the encounter if you do certain things on tip of the spear where you were intended to fight a scarab instead of another AA gun. That would be a fun Easter egg or alternate condition to have that encounter play under. Okay, and I also need a respawning thing for infection forms, a respawning script. A condition for them to stop respawning as well. Probably just have them respawn up to a certain count. I'll just use my global system for flood respawning that I made here. Okay, let's say on normal they'll respawn 4 times, heroic 5 times, and then legendary 7 times. See how that feels. stop respawning once you get up here, or reach the max count that they can respawn at. Make sure I set stuff back to 0. If there are if I put carriers in this room, I should probably provide the player with needlers and plasminades to deal with them. Both in this room and in the last room. So that would probably, the best option there would probably be, instead of plasma rifles here, let's make this needlers. And then we can put plasma rifles over here. And then in the last encounter as well, by that same logic, let's make some needlers available at the end of the last encounter. Is it possible for normal corpses to be infection like in Halo 3? If there is, it would probably be extremely difficult to make happen in a way that I'm not sure if it would be worth it. But I don't think so. Make these needlers. Okay, there we go. That available for players. Let's put a needler up here too. Okay. Then of course I also put in sword here. So the sword, needler, and brute shot are going to be your best friends for this encounter, because they're going to let you either kill the carriers without emitting the infection forms, or they're going to let you destroy the bodies. Should also add some plasminades here. So you can stick the carrier forms and also kill the infection forms in the process. Get a crate of plasminades over here too. Get like 3 of them in this one. Okay. Then we also have a brute shot made available down here as well. I think we should have all the tools to make this encounter play how I want. Alright. AI swarm count. We make a squad group to reference all of these guys under. Wait until there are 2 or less infection forms alive, and then we'll spawn in some more. Sleep random range between 70 ticks and 180 ticks. Should probably also have it wait to see have it check how many non-swarm actors, i.e. combat forms, are alive as well. So we have, not sending in more infection forms if there are a bunch of combat forms alive in this room. So for non-swarm, we'll have, if there are 4 combat forms alive in this room, 4 or more alive in this room, we won't spawn in any infection forms. Actually 3. What are the best Halo 2 campaign mods while waiting for yours to be finished? A Halo 2 mod that I've recently played is really, really good. It's like a Halo 2 reimagining of the Silent Cartographer. I forget what it's called, though. Like, it's a mod with the where you go to rescue Miranda and Johnson, I believe. That mod was really good. Magic leads to the player, so they're instantly aggroed. And then add to the counter. Flood respawn count. Flood respawn count +1. AI magically see players doesn't exist in Halo 2? I don't think it does. Much to my annoyance. You only have AI magically see and AI magically see object. So many useful script expressions that were in Halo 1 that just aren't in Halo 2. That frustrate me. That would be so noisy. Okay, that makes the initial thing. Let's see how that works. me actually have the respawn script in the AI flood script so I can make sure there's no not firing off before it should. Did late game jackals get the weak personal shells? That just I don't know. In the late game, I'm planning to bring back late game of H2R. I'm planning to bring back the Jackal Ultras featured in CER. How much would you charge if you wanted a one-on-one lesson on Teams or Zoom to learn modding from you? I wouldn't want to do that personally, because I'm still learning myself. Alright, let me turn back on light maps. Crusty as they are. Getting the action started immediately. Oh, hi. I should probably see if I can spawn these carrier forms farther away from each other so they're not bunched up like that. Nice, this is playing well. Kind of like managing the pressure on you. I don't plan for the player to spend too much time in here, so nothing too complex, but just something to make this room have its own idea of what's going on. I should probably put something for you to destroy the bodies with on the second level as well. So not all that stuff is only on the first level. Probably put like a needler up there. Okay, they're gonna keep respawning. Or they might have already reached their max because this is on normal difficulty here. Yeah, let's put some plasminades up on the upper level, if there aren't already. Turn off light maps again so I can see. Yeah, let's put some plasminades up here. And get a needler up here as well. Is 4-player support still on the table for H2R and or CER? It is very low on the priority list. First we have to test that co-op works well at all, which is going to be its own really big ordeal. Bombing shake events on the mission to show the situation is even more chaotic. Yeah, gonna have ambient rumbles that happen similar to Pillar Bottom, which I also do on Gravemind. Okay, let's test this on Legendary. I should probably put a freaking light beacon on that SMG, because it's impossible to see the SMG against High Charity's floors. Just blends in. Applying an SMG there is good, because that's good against the infection forms. Yeah, I feel like this room is gonna be fun, because it's kind of gonna be a thing of like seeing if you can keep the situation from getting out of control. Also, where are the crates that are supposed to be here? I forget to spawn them in. Oh yeah, got to spawn that stuff in. Thank you, Sorry, for the $50 something. Halo 2 means a lot to me. I grew up with a handful of games, like many of us here. It defined a big part of who I am now. Thank you for making this. I relate to that so hard. The games I grew up with pretty much defined my personality. Thank you so much for the super chat. Where is the body that's supposed to be here? Juncture A, body. Oh, I'm fucking destroying these objects instead of creating them. Derp. Derp. Okay, I'm supposed to be destroying the garden objects and then creating the juncture objects. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Roaming flood in the last mission? No, I don't, because the flood haven't reached that part of the ring yet. They have not reached the control room. They are not present on that mission. I want those carrier forms to not be in their alert state initially. So let me give them their own initial orders. A flood any. Force to idle. Thank you, Crash Bash.
What's one specific thing that you're most proud of creating for H2R?
The engineer is a big one. The entire team chipped in for that. It was a big group effort. For me, personally, the things I've created, a bunch of the new areas and new encounters I created for them, that is something I am very, very proud of, because that is like a lot of original content for me. It came from my own brain. Okay, then they're going to transition over to the general order when they're alerted. Ring!
What's one specific thing that you're most proud of creating for H2R?
Generic. Is there an alert? Generic alerted mission. Arrived, strength, last man. Oh, generic alerted. If alerted by squad A, but if alerted at all. Oh my god, why are they overlapping? Thank you, Anthony, for the $25. Was there another one that just got like completely overlapped? Did anyone else like Streamlabs donate just now that didn't appear? Because it shouldn't have played like twice in such quick succession, so I'm wondering if someone donated and then someone donated immediately afterward and it got overridden. Thank you anyway for the 25, and thank you for using Streamlabs, which YouTube takes 0 cut from. We'll go sighted player. Okay, let me see, make sure these guys spawn further apart from each other.
Your pal. Where's he going?
To finish what was started. And this time...
Are you sure engineers capable of shielding the player with their current scripting? Yes, we have a system for that, which you're able to do some cheeky stuff if you save an engineer in some conditions. Why are you alert immediately? Where are the freaking crates? Give me my crates. Juncture A, stuff. Juncture A, stuff. Oh my god, I'm so freaking careless. I'm telling it to destroy it instead of create it. Again. God, why am I overlooking such basic stuff right now? I need my needlers. Also, I need to put a light baton next to that SMG. So you can actually see it. Hi. How many did it create? How many bodies did it create? Make sure that's working. The body's maxed to 4. Okay, this is a very simple encounter, but I'm liking how it's turning out. Put a light stick next to this stuff. Very dark in here. There we go. Easier to see now. This is a fun little encounter taking advantage of my biped infection system. I need to see how many bodies it's... double check how many bodies it's creating, because I feel like it should be making more bodies on Legendary. Let's see, got... But yeah, I feel like there are barely any. What is going on? It's not creating any more than the bodies that I initially placed. Let's see. Why is it 0? Wait, what? But it's a 0 after the place the fruit. Do I need to what is going on? Oh, I never declared the difficulty to be legendary here. Just left that as heroic, that's why. So many tiny little mistakes. Okay, now there are the proper amount of bodies here. Let the bodies hit the flow. Let the bodies hit the flow. Ah! Ah! I just got beat. Okay, we need to get the infection forms acting more immediately. Gotta get them in your face like immediately. Because AI have so many downgrades to their action possibilities, do they? I'm not super familiar with Reach's AI. I haven't played around with it in a long time. Also, we'll give the Garden A encounter another go before we end things on the stream. Not that we're gonna end anytime soon. We still got a lot of stuff to do. Ooh, this room is really populated on Legendary. Okay, let's dial that back a little bit because we just got done with a really intense encounter with the Garden A, so we don't need things to be quite as intense here. 3 extra bodies on normal, 4 on heroic, and 5 on legendary, and let's see how that goes. This is not a very big room, so I don't want to overload with too many bodies and AI at once. I would also prefer if the body resurrection was more spaced out as opposed to them all getting resurrected at once. So let's have less initial infection. Let me put a debug message here so I know when the timing of how it's respawning these guys. I would prefer things ramp up more gradually than as opposed to going from 0 to 100 in a second. The area from the MP map that is on High Charity. We have a much more explicit inspiration of Gemini later on in this mission. There we go. That feels a lot more well-paced. Now it's gonna start respawning some guys. If I don't die, that is. Nice, you got carriers coming down from both sides of the stairs here. Nope, no break in Benjamin. We're not breaking our Benjamins today. As much as that makes some people sad. Got a lot of nice jumping around points here that I added to. I'm wondering if there should be any extra end condition for the respawning of infection forms. Like if the encounter, if the infection form should stop spawning, even if there are no more, even if there are still some bodies to infect. I don't know. I'm not sure what that win condition would be. Okay, coming into this hallway, we're gonna spawn more flood at the top of the ramp that behave defensively, while you still potentially have guys getting infected behind you. This encounter is shaping up to be something a lot more interesting than what I originally envisioned for it. I originally just envisioned for there to be initial infection forms that infect the bodies in here, but it's kind of like balancing act of keeping the bodies from being infected is actually kind of fun. Kind of cool. Even though this room is really small and short. Let's give this another test run on normal difficulty. Probably need to wait to spawn, wait to spawn them until you're actually in the room, or near the room. So they're not infecting bodies before you even get into the room. They also changed this trigger condition. Be something more consistent. Sided players behaving very weirdly, so instead let's go combat status. Combat status 9. Or we can make sure they'll only become active once you've started engaging them, or they've seen you. Then not spawn them at all until this door has started opening. Puncture A, door 01. Okay. We'll spawn the bodies in, and then we will not spawn the actual actors in the room until the device is starting opening. So device, the device position is greater than 0. Sleep until device get position juncture 8 door 01 greater than 0. Alright. That would be cool, Norwegian Air. There they are. I'm still wondering why they're getting active so quickly. Although it might just be that they're seeing me immediately as I'm coming in. It might just be that. Ah! Ah! Get off, get off, get off. Damn it. Oop, that door was already open because but let me make absolutely sure they're not aggroing as soon as... Yeah, they're not even seeing me and they're aggroing immediately. What's going on? See, their combat status was forced to idle. I don't know why. Hold on. AI render orders. I'm sure A flood any. Okay, they're not in combat with me yet, but they're still like aggroing for some reason. So when I actually engage them, they should switch their orders. Yeah, another junction A flood. Okay, that's working. Why the orders that they start with have them forced to idle, not in combat? So I don't know why that's happening. Not magically seeing the player either as they come in. That's only in the respawn script that I put that. Maybe that's... Maybe if an infection form sees a body it can infect, it just automatically defaults to alert for in combat, and then that status is getting transferred to the carriers. AI render combat status. Let's see about this. So AI render combat status. Hold on. I don't think that's deprecated. Hold on. AI debugs combat status. There we go. Combat status 1 to combat status 4. Okay, so they're not seeing me, but the infection forms are going alert immediately. It's weird. Sure. Let me try this. Let's try making the infection forms blind and seeing what happens with that. What happens with their combat status then? Status 2, 3. That's status 4. Wait, what? The carrier? Oh, I think they might be going on higher combat status because they're seeing the bodies that are on their team, and so that's alerting them. What if I made the carrier forms blind as well? That stopped them from seeing the bodies and going on the alert. Let's see. Everybody here is blind now, so combat status 1. Okay, yeah, it was them seeing the bodies of bipeds that are technically on their team. So that was what was alerting them. So what can I do here? I can set them to be blind for a certain amount of time when you enter the room, so they're not immediately aggroing. And then I can unblind them. Let's see. Okay, so after placing them, we are going to wait 2 seconds, and then we're gonna 2 or 3 seconds, or until their combat status is like reached a higher level. So, like when you start shooting, for example. So, sleep until AI combat status junction A infection is 8 or more with a timeout of 3 seconds. So they will regain their sight after a timeout or when you started engaging them. You need to be careful with this timing though, because I don't want you to be able to walk right in front of them without them aggroing. AI set blind. A infection any false. Not junction, juncture. Excuse. No, the Flood Corpse Revival thing does not run on scripts. That runs on the game's internal logic. They can still hear you, so they're gonna go into combat when you started shooting. Okay. Just to be absolutely sure, what I can do here is I can make a trigger volume here just to make sure if you've moved up far enough they will activate. TV, B, puncture, A, and blind. Okay, move up this far and they will unblind. So that'll be sleep until or volume test objects TV juncture A unblind players or their combat status is activated. Say 8 or more. Okay. That will get the effect going where I want, where they're not aggroed immediately and they won't start infecting dudes until you've initiated. Probably move that trigger volume up even more. Okay. Let me replay this on Legendary again. No, it wouldn't be possible to have the a Covenant biped change teams upon death. Not in any way that I know of. I'm getting snacked on. Snack attack. Let me delay that checkpoint. You don't have to walk through all the way every time. Give you time to take in the area first before things get going. Need to fix that A posing whenever they're initially infected. I think it's because they don't have any stun mode animations currently. Nice. I'm happy with where that is now. Let's work on the second half of this encounter. Just moving up the ramp. Okay, blood that are on top of here. That half of I think it's gonna have like some of them rush down towards you, and some of them hold their position at the top of the ramp. An A ramp. Okay, probably gonna make these brute forms. Two brute forms that rush you without any without weapons. I don't know if I want these guys to respawn any amount. We'll see. See how long I want, how complex and how long I want this whole hallway encounter to be. Okay, two brutes that just rush you, and then other combat forms up here that'll hold the top of the ramp. So like probably 3 of those. These guys are all gonna have weapons. And come in any variety of combat form, like choosing from the human or elite. I could have Flood Brute Captain at the top of here. In fact, yeah, I should definitely get used to the Flood Brute Captain while we have him. So we'll have a Flood Brute Captain on top of this that has a brute shot. It will always be placed. It'll be accompanied by 2 other combat forms. Some humans. And then one of them, you have a chance of an ODST flood spawning. Thank you, Calvin, for the $5 Canadian. I don't know if you covered this earlier, but will there be Flood Arbiters? Also very excited to play your mod with its on. I think we might save that idea for Halo 3. Where I think it's much more palatable to work that in. As opposed to Halo 2, where we're not going to go near the mausoleum in this mission at all, again. No plans to at the moment, anyway. Yes, there will be Juggernauts on this mission at some point. Okay, nice. We got a major blood captain spawned here. Okay, let's give them their own orders now. Function A, blood ramp. These guys can share the same orders. The ones without weapons are going to charge by default, and the ones with weapons are going to hang back. Thank you, Goose, for the $2. Yeah, love your work. This will be the go to Halo mods. I hope so. I've worked on it long enough. Okay, let me make sure these guys behave in the way that I want. The ranged dudes are blocking the non-ranged dudes from getting in. Let me give them the script that tells them to ignore stuff while they're initially spawned. They get where they need to be. Why are the ranged dudes getting ahead of the non-ranged dudes so easily? What's going on there? Probably need to have these guys be always active so they're not being inactive by being outside of the player's view. Probably also I need to get the rusher dudes to magically see the players soon right off of spawn so they're immediately going to rush you. Hello? Did I set them to be blind? I spawned? Yeah, because I copied them off of the previous blood spawns. Why are the non-ranged dudes being so slow? Move them up. Thank you, Daikaiju, for the $5 super chat. Not to make you feel pressured, but when can we approximately see this mod released? Probably either end of summer or sometime in the autumn, maybe. If I were to give myself maximum amount of time that I would need to finish Great Journey and to polish up the rest of the mod. Let's see how that works. Where's my checkpoint? Get down here, for fuck's sake. These rushing flood are being so freaking timid. And I have to give them their own orders. There you are. Okay, let's decrease the amount of times the infection forms spawn in that room. Like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Okay. I probably need to provide the player with something in this room to help them deal with the enemies spawning in behind them. Like, maybe a stave. Not a sword, though. There's a sword in the last room. Maybe another brute shot. Plasma rifle, maybe. We'll put a crate of them here. Just something in addition to this ether. There we go, that feels right. Right as rain. Okay, let's give this another go on Legendary. There they are. What's wrong with my mouse? Okay. This might get overwhelming with if the infection forms are still reviving guys behind you. I also need to give him more. Up there. AI non-swarm count, puncture A infection. Thank you.
First, just want to say you and the rest of the team kick ass. Also wanted to ask what one thing you might be looking forward to in Halo 3? Whether that be a gameplay mechanic, cut feature, or brand new idea. Can't wait to play this.
Thank you so much for the Streamlabs, Dono. For Halo 3... What was the thing?
First, just want to say you and the rest of the team kick ass. Also wanted to ask what
was the
one
thing
you
I'm
might
most
be
excited
looking
about for
forward to in Halo
H3R.
3? Whether that be a gameplay mechanic, cut feature, or brand new idea. Can't wait to play this.
There's so much that goes into H3R, it's hard to pick. Polishing up the brutes to present the immediate threat they are in Halo 2. I'm excited for having redesigning the captains to where you shoot off armor pieces bit by bit instead of them all exploding at once. I'm excited for. Gonna handle them similarly to how we do in H2R. Just very excited for the brutes H3R in general. A lot we can do to spice them up. Using the Halo 3 ODST version of the engine for H3R, I am not recreating Halo 3 in ODST's engine. I will be sticking to Halo 3's engine, thank you very much. I'm not porting Halo 3 to Halo 3 ODST. That sounds like such a pain in the ass. It is not just a drag and drop. Probably gonna have the music that plays. Oh, ODST spawn. Music that plays in the garden encounter persist into this one. Okay, nice. I like how this plays. Let's oops. Fuck. I didn't just ban someone by accident, did I? I don't think so. Nice click. Sorry. Okay, let's see how this feels going from the garden encounter into this one. That was the door locking behind us.
not defeat us.
Arrogant creature. Your deaths will be instantaneous, while we shall suffer the progress of infinitude.
Is Captain still alive? Nope, he's very much not. Hi. Enemy elites in this level? Maybe. Add engineers to Halo 3. Yes, definitely. ODST-chan. Well, you know what I should probably do? I should probably have Cortana lock this door behind you once you get a certain point up. Go along with that mechanic in this mission. So it only makes sense and be consistent. And because these flood are organically getting revived behind you. So once you go a certain point up, she'll have her lock the door. Don't want it to lock too soon behind you, because that might wait until the player's actually like they're likely done with that room before we lock it. So we'll go like halfway up here. Don't necessarily want flood piling in behind you once you're already at the top. Sleep the infection form respawning script. Okay, there we go. Oops. I forgot to add the fucking condition for locking the door. Now I'm soft locked and I can't progress in the mission. Oops. Oopsie. Want to avoid that if we can. Move that trigger volume further even more. Have any been completely remade from scratch or aligned with H2A? Not from scratch, no. Gold Athena has taken some cues from H2A with additions that she's made. Overwhelmingly, it's still very much Halo 2's cutscenes, just repolished. Door gets locked. Okay, nice. Let's play this from the start of the first corridor encounter. See how everything flows together. Alright, corridor. Please excuse the lack of light maps on most of this BSP. Everything's gonna look really flat and janky. Here's where we introduce the idea of kind of locking the doors.
Makes you feel any better, unlocking the doors behind you should keep some of the flood off your back. Let me get those doors.
Oh, that dude, I actually did make it so the flood Elite Ultras can berserk and pull out a sword like they're non-infected versions. I just stuck myself. That was a bit of an oopsie. Ah! Ow. And it's hard trying to read chat and play Halo at the same time. What are you doing over here? This is not where you're supposed to be pathing to, asshole. Oh, that was I missed that lunge. With landmarks as priority, or based off here's out the arena, and now we fill it up with detail. Yeah, starting from basic blockout phase, get a strong focal point in the encounter to build it around. It's always the best approach. I just stuck the pipe itself. That's funny. I'm landing some very cringe grenades today. Ah! I don't know why so many elite, Flood Elite Ultras are spawning. There's like such a huge amount of them for some reason. I'll have to look into that.
Arrogant creature. Your death will be instantaneous, while we shall suffer the progress of infinitude.
Thank you, bro, for subbing. Oh, this room is going to be really fun if you go into it with a energy stave. Wondering if the should increase its representation. It's how many have I placed? So many Flood Elite Ultras for some reason. What is with their placement chances? Hold on, let me look into that. There should not be this many Elite Ultra Flood. I think I did give the minor Elite Flood some edited placement property chance. Maybe like just delete that block so they just upgrade naturally. Let's see. Okay, I want to play that through that whole part again. Very, very chaotic level. Trying to find the sweet spot for how much I should overwhelm the player, how much they'll be able to handle.
makes you feel any better, unlocking the doors behind you should keep some of the flood off your back.
Makes me feel a lot better.
Let me get those doors.
Hi, Flood ODSD. Oh yeah, the sniper rifle. Hell yeah. Oh god, he pulled out a sword. Ah! What are you doing over here? This guy's supposed to be staying by the door, but he keeps coming forward for some reason. I have no idea why. That is not where his firing points are. Is the checkerboard pattern intentional? Yes, I intended to turn the interior of High Charity into Green Hill Zone. I thought that aesthetic would fit well. Might need to slow things down on this mission is what I'm feeling like. Like even for Legendary it might be a bit overwhelming, the rate they're spawning at. You could just stay in here and fight them off until they stop spawning. It is also a valid way of approaching this. Die, ODSD Flood. Give me a health pack.
Parasite did not defeat the Fallen. And it shall not defeat us.
Arrogant creature, your death will be instantaneous, while we shall suffer the progress of infinitude.
Let me make it so on this encounter, Flood will not continue to spawn from the back door if you're still in the corridor. So the Covenant aren't getting killed before you even go into that encounter if you're still staying in the corridor to fight off that wave. Let's make sure the player is still in there. Volume test objects, TV, garden, A, all. Okay, so it'll only spawn Blood to attack the Covenant in this room if you're actually in this room. set that biomass to still persist across BSPs. Also need to make the music play for a lot longer, because it should persist coming into this room, I feel. I feel like the intensity from the garden should persist up into this room. We're gonna have more of a breather in the next encounter, between this one and the next encounter. Okay, I'm happy with how that's shaping up now. Now let's work on the next encounter, which is going to be exceedingly simple. It is just consisting of a bunch of spooky tunnels and some flood appearing around corners, and that's it. Before that, there's an active camo I hid behind this door that he can actually launch towards you, but maybe I'll put some other scenery in here as well to go along with that. Put some bodies in there at some point too. I get to the visual pass. Okay, I'll put blood and bodies in there. Here. Turn off the light maps. I think I already have a trigger volume to start this encounter. The TV tunnel start. Okay, let's build this encounter script, which is going to be really, really simple. Just encounter tunnels. Who knows, might add some emergent complexity as we work on it, just like the juncture encounter. Script dormant encounters encounter tunnels. Part is going to be inspired by the maintenance tunnels on Pillar of Autumn and the Maw, and provide a little bit of breathing room and quietness compared to all the bombastic action that it's sandwiched between. Don't need to destroy the juncture stuff just yet. Do need to destroy, probably need to destroy the bodies. Oh yeah, actually we should probably destroy most of them. Because the door's locked, but nah, they're not taking up They're not taking up any object memory at the moment. You can just do that later. Let's actually move the trigger volume that starts this encounter forward a little bit. Alright, so it starts here. Make high charity look darker? Yeah, we plan to do something like that as the mission goes further on. That would be a really great detail. Maybe make sure to sleep all of these scripts. Juncture center. AI disposable. Eighth true and a jump A true. I also need to do is I need to erase the garden infection. Right. Remove all of these encounters. Up to join the rest of them. Nice to have encounters that are properly labeled as opposed to E1, E2, E3, E4, E5. He was literally just gonna be one squad for this encounter. Okay, basically we're just gonna have a randomized set of spawns for Flood that are chilling around every corner, waiting to spook ya. I'm gonna need something for them to stay put, though. To make a command script for them. That's Flood Ambush. Gonna wait until AI combat status. AI current actor is 9. Then, yeah, wait until they're combat status 9 to start doing stuff. So they stay completely put. Until you're in, they can see you. Also, they need orders. Okay, it'll be really, really simple. Probably gonna go through this mission and add do a whole polishing pass of cool horror imagery or moments. Right now I'm just focusing on the basic encounter to encounter, scripting, structure, basic ideas, stuff like that. Yeah. Alright, let's make a test script for this. Oh, these fucking doors are so stupid. It's already opening from the dude who's on the other side of the wall. I hate how doors are handled in these games. I'm gonna have to make a special version of the door that is much shorter opening range. Because we're... Yeah. Need to have it so they're not surprised by you, though. They need to go on offense immediately. Probably should... For combat status is combat. I don't know what combat status that puts them in by default, though. If it's 9... Let's see... Puts them at 3, okay. Not 3, what does it put them at initially? Okay, yeah, it starts them at 3. Hey, instead of releasing them from the command script immediately, let's have them magically see the player. CS enable dialogue 1, CS enable looking 1, CS enable moving 1, CS enable targeting 1, AI magically see object, AI current actor, player 0, and they're gonna wait like 3 seconds and then we'll release them from the command script. Yeah, that is pretty ironic, isn't it, Luna? doors. Way too damn long to get going, I'll tell you that. I have them wait until AI combat status 8. Or okay, that's a lot better. There we go. That's perfect. Rawr! Rawr XD. Alright, now I need to make a special version of these fucking doors that don't open to guys who are standing on the other side of a wall. Ay ay ay. Object, solo, high charity. High, small door. Copy this, make another one. High, small door, short. Shorter activation radius. Automatic activation radius, let's go like 0.75 world units. Alright, add that stupid shit to the palette. I love making duplicates of objects for one-off purposes like this. Hi, loaded. Going good. We're working on a really small breather of an encounter right now. That was a funny sound. This will look so spooky and awesome when it's not marred by horrible warped textures. I should maybe have these guys play a line of dialogue to scare the player when they're initially alerted. Probably add something for the player to find in here as well. Let's see if I can put something interesting over here. One of these corners. Probably do something interesting visually, like horror-wise in this room, but that'll inform what I want to put here. But for now, I guess I'll just put, like, energy sword, probably. Not an energy sword, because that would make it really easy to kill dudes who are in here. They're in here. Probably have a much better idea of what I want to put in here later, so I'll just put side on one thing. Probably a human weapon. Like a magnum in here. I'll probably change this later. Have a light stick next to it. And have a rucksack. And some ammo. Okay, I'll probably want to do something cool, like horror imagery related in these tunnels, and that'll probably inform what I want put here, but that'll do for now, just to plant that sort of seed. Okay, and that's pretty much literally it for the tunnels encounter. Let me correct some of the sound environment for in here. So sounded I want here. I think little something I want. And background sound, let's play not have let's cool it on the flood ambience just for this little hallway here, just so we can make things uncomfortably silent compared to how crazy things have been up to this point. I need to hear what that background sound and sound environment looks like. Sounds like. Turn up Sabian's volume so I can hear. I need to change it so the change actually reflects. Putting a carrier in here would be pretty evil, wouldn't it? I'll keep that in the back of my head. Try to get a background noise thing that's doesn't have all these ambient details. Try to get it like really quiet in here. What do the portals here look like? So yeah, and I have to pull something elsewhere. Will these corridors look less blocky? Yeah, it's obviously still in a very basic state. Yeah, all the background tracks have those same detail sounds. I'm gonna need to add something to the palette. Sound, ambience. Could go like room tones, high charity hallway. Let's see how that sounds. Sapien. Oh, even I'm getting lost now. Thermals on this are so messed up. Funny. I'd like to get something more outwardly claustrophobic sounding. Light room tone, spaceship room tone, tone room. Yeah, very basic room tone. What else do we got? Gas giant. Do you have any lab? Trailer to the lab? I think we'll just go with the basic room tone. Also try stone here. A quiet room tone. Thoughts on the new Steam controller? I've never played with the Steam controller. I don't know anything about that. I'll just go with spaceship. Let me also apply that background sound to all the way out here as well, so it's quiet here too. Whoa!
Keep up the hard
Oh shit,
work.
what did I just do?
You absolute legend.
Thank you very much, Colin, for the $10 super chat. What did I just do to all my windows? Just collapsed all my windows into squares for some reason. How did I do that?
Keep up the hard work. You absolute legend.
Thank you so much. Alright. Go quiet. Space to take place. But that background sound, please. You're not supposed to be roaring at me. This cluster. and silence. Might recognize this part here. Not gonna work on this stream. Yeah, got a very basic blockout of this area here that you come out into. Right. I think that'll do it for today's stream, everybody. Got 2 solid encounters done, and we're heading into even more new areas beyond this point, which I'll be very excited about. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there for this week. I'll see you all next week for more H2R work. And, yeah. Have a good rest of your Mother's Day, everybody.